You're watching the Pilot's Briefing, your one-stop shop for all major aviation news and events. Welcome pilots, flight attendants, and all aviation enthusiasts. After the door blew off of Alaska Flight 1282 several weeks ago, Boeing has had nothing but trouble. This Sunday, the FAA issued a safety alert for the Boeing 737ER, that's the extended range version of the Boeing 737-9, telling airlines that operate this type to visually inspect the mid-exit door plugs to ensure the door is properly secured. Though the Dash 9 is a different aircraft from the one where the door blew off, the door plug design is the same as the Dash 9 MAX. The FAA requests that any airlines that do these inspections report their findings to the Certificate Management Office. Essentially, they just want to know the results of these visual inspections. Already there have been reports of more bolts that are not properly secured. The reporting of the cause of the door departing mid-flight has largely attributed the event to loose bolts. The problem with this reporting is that it leads to questions about the maintenance crew of these aircraft. A loose bolt is a bit of an oversimplification. In reality, the bolt holding the door on the aircraft was a castle nut with a cotter pin. This castle nut and cotter pin is supposed to prevent the nut from spinning and thus preventing the bolt from loosening. It does appear that the vibrations of the aircraft somehow worked the cotter pin out of the bolt, resulting in the door departing the aircraft. More on that later. Alaska Airlines CEO Ben Minicucci spoke to NBC News on Tuesday, where he lambasted Boeing and questioned their commitment to aviation safety. He said, "I'm more than frustrated and disappointed. I'm angry. This happened to Alaska Airlines. It happened to our guests and happened to our people. And my demand on Boeing is what are they going to do to improve their quality programs in-house?" End quote. He went on to say, talking about the issues found with the bolts on the MAX 9s, "It makes you mad that we're finding issues like that on brand new airplanes," end quote. Alaska Airlines has not been the only operator to find issues on the MAX 9, as United has also reported issues with the door plugs on their aircraft. Boeing did issue an apology in response, saying, "We have let down our airline customers and are deeply sorry for the significant disruption to them, their employees, and their passengers. We are taking action on a comprehensive plan to bring these airplanes safely back to service and to improve our quality and delivery performance. We will follow the lead of the FAA and support our customers every step of the way." Recognizing the issues that the company is facing, Boeing will conduct a quality stand-down at their 737 plant in Washington. The company will cease work on production of the aircraft in order to have a training day for their employees. Boeing Commercial Airplanes Division CEO Stan Deal said during the stand-downs, teammates will participate in hands-on learning, reflection, and collaboration to identify where quality and compliance can be improved and create actionable plans that can be tracked to closure. This stand-down is not the only one planned for the company, as the rest of the programs within Boeing will have similar training exercises over the coming weeks. Both Boeing and Alaska are currently staring down the barrel of lawsuits from passengers that were on Flight 1282. A whistleblower that claimed to work at the plant where the 737 was made alleges that the door plug was removed and reinstalled improperly. What I see here is the result of no major aircraft accidents in recent memory within the U.S. It's been 15 years since the last fatal crash here, leading to the culture of complacency we find in Boeing. When two Boeing 737 MAXs crashed overseas in the span of 2 days, investigations were launched into Boeing determining that a culture of cronyism and complacency had been found in both Boeing's leadership as well as the inspecting agency, in this case, the FAA. This led to improper testing of systems and passing inspections that they never should have passed. I don't believe Boeing or the FAA have fully rectified the issue, and I don't know what it's going to take for them to fix it. It would not surprise me to find out that Boeing knew that this was a possible issue and did nothing to remedy it. On Saturday, we found out that the doors aren't the only things we have to worry about coming off of Boeing aircraft. A Delta 757 lost a nose wheel as it was taxiing onto a runway in Atlanta. The flight was supposed to depart Atlanta Hartsfield-Jackson International Airport bound for Bogota when the issue occurred. Fortunately, it was witnessed by an aircraft lined up behind the 757, and the pilots let the Delta aircraft know about the loose wheel. The flight was eventually completed by a different aircraft after a delay of over 5 hours. The Delta aircraft was on the apron for over 2 hours while they waited for a tug to come and maintenance teams to locate the missing wheel, which had been rolled down an embankment next to the runway. None of the 184 passengers were injured, and the aircraft in question has since been removed from active service. I don't see these two stories as being related other than them both happening to Boeing manufactured aircraft. It's highly likely that either the maintenance crew made a mistake when installing the wheel after a flat tire of the 757, or that the wheel came off due to normal wear and tear, especially since this specific aircraft has been in service for over 30 years. During those 30 years, it has racked up over 90,000 hours of service. The tail cone of an Airbus A350-900 was damaged this week as the aircraft executed a go-around. The aircraft did land safely after the tail strike, but the return leg of the route was cancelled due to the significant extent of damage. There was minor paint and lighting protection damage, as well as a waste panel that was unable to be salvaged. The event was caught on camera by a plane spotter at the airport. This is the third time in as many years that an A350 has had a tail strike. In other news, Southwest Airlines has reached a tentative contract agreement with their pilots union. This new contract includes a pay increase of 44% over the next 4 years. That 44% will be distributed with an immediate increase of 29.15% this year and 4% raises for the next 3 years. This will culminate in a final 3.25% increase in 2028. Not only does this new contract provide increased pay, but improved benefits, including scheduling, retirement increases, maternity and paternity leaves, and more. This contract mirrors similar contracts that have been signed over the past year with other mainline operators, including Delta and American. Southwest hopes through this deal that their attrition rate will significantly reduce. On the other hand, Southwest is currently fighting tooth and nail with their flight attendants union, after 98% of them voted to authorize a strike. Thankfully for those of us that fly Southwest, a strike is not currently on the horizon, as the aircraft is covered under the Railway Labor Act, meaning negotiations between the company and the union are mediated and regulated by the federal government. Under the RLA, negotiations would have to be ended without an agreement, the union would be required to request release from mediation, and they must go through a 30-day waiting period before it would legally be allowed to strike. This escalation in negotiation comes after a tentative deal reached in October of 2023 fell through. Southwest responded to the authorization confident that a strike would not occur and that negotiations will continue to take place until a deal is reached. Let me know in the comments section if you believe that Boeing and the FAA have had a culture of complacency that has gone unchecked over the last several years. Don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button, and you've been watching the Pilot's Briefing.